Oh, wow.
Okay, the next question. In 2004, there was twice as many in the age group 45 to 54. So we're looking at 2004, and we're saying twice as many in the age group 45 to 54 compared with 65 to 74 who had access to internet. Okay, well, let's look at this percentage here. 45 to 54 is the green one here in 2004. And it's this one at about slightly less than 80%, approximately 79%. So this one here is about 79%. And then 65 to 34 is about 38%. But this only tells us the percentage. And it says twice as many. That's the number of people. So let's play the devil's advocate here and say we asked, let's call this 80%. Let's say that we only asked 10 people here. If we asked 10 people in this age group whether they had internet access or not, then there would only be 8 people that would have internet access. Agreed? Yeah. 8 people would have it. But let's say that we asked 100 people in this age group. If 100 people in this age group were asked, there'd only be 38%. There'd only be 38 people. But because we asked more people in this group than this group, there'd be a lot more people, the number of people, twice as many. So we're not able to say any conclusion there because they've asked about the number of people. And we don't know how many people were asked here, and we don't know how many people were asked here. So we can't answer this question with the data they've given us. We could say, we could make an assumption if you've asked 100 people of both age group. So understanding and listening to the question is extremely important here. Question 7. Twice as many people in the 45 to 54 age group had access to the internet. We don't know anything about the number of people that you have asked. So that is why the answer for question 7 is false. The percentage is about double, but we don't know anything about the number of people asked. Assume if we asked 10 people in this age group and 100 people in this, there would be a lot more people in the age group 65 to 74 that actually had access to internet in terms of people. Not in terms of percentage, but in terms of people. If there's a big disproportionality between how many we're asking. So that was the first trick question that comes in. And there will always be this type of little trick question with a big depth that they'll want you to go into and explain if you're hoping for the top A points. Okay, question 8. Access to the internet increased by about 30% for 35 to 44-year-olds. So 35 to 44 is the age group. And from 2000, then we had about 69% in this age group who had access to internet. And in 2007, we had about 91%. So what have we got here? Now we've got our percentage change formula. Do you remember? C3PO. That percentage change is the change divided by the original, or the one you're comparing with, times 100. Our original one, the one we're comparing it with, is 69%. So what we need to do here is we need to take 91 minus 69 divided by 69. So we're getting the percentage change, and then multiplying that by 100%. So we're getting the difference here between 2007 and 2000, 91 minus 69, all divided by 69. and that will give you a percentage of, which question am I on now? 32%. When you calculate that out, you've got your calculators. So yes, it is because it said approximately 30%. 32%, about the same as 30%. This is the calculation that proves it. Okay, and you have to have this calculation with if you want the A points. Next question. Question 8. It says that access to internet... No, we just did that one. Are we on question 9 now? Yes. Okay, 2007, the proportion of women that had access to internet was 80% lower in the 75. So we're back on this graph. It's talking about women, and it's talking about 2007. So we need to be on this graph. What do we know then? Well, we know that 75 plus that had 10% access. And we also know that in the age group 45 to 54, we had 90% access. So they're looking for the fact that we have the difference then, the proportion of women that had access. So what we're doing here is we're taking our, we call it 90%. Again, percentage change formula, that we've got the difference divided by the one we were comparing it with, times 100. So we're going to get 90 minus 10 divided by 90, or 89, depending on how accurate you're going to get it. And then we get about 90% here. So again, using our percentage change formula, we will get about 90%, not 80%. So the answer to that question is false. Then we have question 10. The proportion that are 75 plus has increased with 300%. So this is our statement from the year 2000 to 2010. And if we read off the graph for 2000, where we've got 10% of them have access to internet, and 2010, and here we can read that we've got about 30% that have access to internet. So it's a factor 3 larger, but that is not 300% larger. We've got the original one at 10%, and if we increase 10% with 200%, then we would have this answer in 2010. So it's not a 300% increase. You've got your original 10%, and then you're adding one more 10%, that's a 100% increase. Another 10%, that's a 200% increase, and you'd get your 30%. So it was a 200% increase, not 300. So that was false. Okay, then we're on question 11, where we're saying that the access to internet has increased most in the age group 75 plus. Well, we know, we've just worked out that in the 75 plus, we had a 200% increase. If we look at 16 to 24%, it's gone from 55 to 99%, which is a large percentage, but that is only, again, the percentage increase would be the difference, 99 minus 55 divided by the original, we started at 55, times 100, percentage change formula, difference divided by original, so that would actually give us an 80% increase. So this one had a 200% increase, whereas this one, even though it was a lot steeper on the graph, was actually, because we started with a higher value, we only got an 80% increase on that one. And last question, number 20. The proportion of women that had access to internet reduces by 80% from 55 to 64. Well, compared with 75 plus. If we look at the statistics here, 55 to 64, we had 75% with internet access. And if we looked here, we had 10% with internet access. So again, we're using percentage change, where we've got the difference divided by the one you're comparing it to. We're comparing it to the 55 to 64. So we get 75 minus 10 divided by the one we're comparing it to, the 75, all multiplied by 100 to get the percentage change. So we get approximately 87%. And the question was reduces with 80%. So we get around, closer to 90. And that's why that one is false. So this is very quick. Too quick, really.